Today, you're going to learn how all of this one life theory comes into one final slot on your calendar so that you can live your one life every hour, every day. And that's the purpose of this episode. Welcome to episode 17 of the One Life Theory podcast. My name is Rajiv. Let me give you a quick summary of episode 16, where we first discussed the 4 steps of the 8 step process. I'm not going to go into every step, you can always go back to the episode and listen. But I'm going to leave you with one thought till step number 4, which is the last part of that was to write the current chapter of your life. And there you're going to write something to fix, which is essentially means that it's going to be extremely difficult because it's something that's broken. You're going to write something where you want to really win and sit on the laurels that you've already done and go to the next level, which also means it's going to be hard but at least slightly easier because it's something that you already do well. And the third one is to maintain. The idea there is obviously you're doing that already well, but don't take it for granted, right? And that's something that you need to continue. So the steps 5 to 8 are getting into the depths of how to tackle all of this. And let's start with step number 5. So step 5 consists of actually setting the environment and the tools before you can actually get into living your life, right? Now, what's the environment? What's the tools? So as I already told you, you have these 2-3 different activities or 2-3 different aspects of life that you have to either fix or do really well. So you first start with what I call a vision board, right? A vision board is literally a board, a rectangular board that's divided into, let's say, 4 parts, and the weightage of each part, and it's a physical board, right? It could also be just a file on your laptop, but let's say it's a physical board that you can actually see every day when you wake up, on your bedroom or in your hall, which is visual, right? And there's enough examples in the internet on the vision board. And that vision board, once you divide it into 4 parts, you can put the photos, pictures of the things that you want to do. For example, let's say for me, the number one priority to actually fix was my health. So put stuff on healthy food, put stuff on doing yoga, your own photos or photos from the internet. Put stuff on waking up on time, right? It needs to, every day you need to get that hit in your head that you need to actually do those aspects. If it is about work, if it is about getting a job, or if it's about starting up, put that out, right? For example, one of the things that I would put on my vision board is the One Life Theory logo to say that, hey, every day I need to do one episode, right? On the stuff that I want to maintain or keep going well, maybe it's the senses, maybe it's relationships, maybe it's the picture of my family, the picture of people that I want to spend time with, and on the senses, it's maybe a movie that I want to catch every week. So put that and travel maybe before all the corona set in, but put that visually, and maybe that vision board has maybe 7-8 big photos and maybe a lot of small items, right? And that vision board should visually indicate as to what you are set out to do for the next foreseeable future. In addition to that, also have an environment which is friendly. If you're going to be really fixing your health or doing stuff on your health, you can't have biscuits and you can't have cookies and ice creams and stuff at home. Just throw all the nonsense out. So make sure your environment, physical environment, also is very strong. A very nice room where you can sleep, an alarm that's far away so you can wake up. So all the different micro things that you can do to make sure your environment is ready, and the tools that you need to use. If you have to monitor the calories, if you have to monitor your weight, if you have to monitor your anything else that you're doing, all the tools. And last but not the least, all the accountability partners, right? These are the people that will make sure every day, every week, that you're holding to the promises that you've given, and identifying those people, communicating to them, and having some kind of a rapport with them, so they are out there to check either the tools that are used to monitor or you're progressing, so that you don't get angry when they check in, but you have that agreement with them for the next 90 days till you actually fix stuff you're going to be doing. This is something that will be ongoing, but if something is broken, then you want to take a one-time effort to fix something and then get on to something that's more ongoing. For whatever it's worth, on all of these fronts, make sure that you set the environment right. That's step number 5. Step number 6 then gets on to the planning phase, right? So you have all of these, you have the tools, you have these environments set. You're going to be actually getting to literally a weekly calendar on your Google Calendar or whatever your favorite calendar is, where you're going to be putting slots on what you're going to be doing. Now, before that, of course, you've seen the episode, you've heard the episode on time and the prioritization of time. And there I've already told you how that 100-hour week can be split, right? Based on the anchor, based on what you said is going to be the biggest anchors for this chapter of life, make sure that you on an average split that 100 hours or 120 hours into where, let's say, you're going to be working on workflow or doing a startup. 60 to 80 hours you're going to be slotting on work, and the rest 40 hours you slot on other things. Be conscious of how many hours you're slotting on which aspect of life, and put that on your calendar, on a Google calendar. Even if you don't know what you're going to be doing, you just block out time you're going to be spending with your kid, block out time where you're going to be exercising, block out time that you're going to be working, block out time where you're going to be spending time with your partner. Whatever it is, block out that time. You can always move around time based on, one day it's getting late at work, one day you want to take off because it's a special event for a kid. That doesn't matter. But unless you block out these times, let's say Monday to Saturday you want to be at work, Saturday night and Sunday you want to be spending time with your kid, or with your movie or whatever else, just block out this time. It's important for you to consciously track this time, because if you're continuously making changes to this time or not adhering to this time, it means that you're a poor time planner. It doesn't mean that you're busier than what's required. It just means you're a poor time planner, right? And communicating that to all the different stakeholders, as I told you in that episode on time, is extremely important, so that people are aware of what you're doing and when you're doing what, right? Being absolutely transparent on this aspect. So that is what the plan is. In addition to that weekly plan, you also have, let's say, a weekly plan at a goal level, at a task level, and a quarterly plan at a goal and a task level. These are to make sure that you're tracking all the outcome metrics that you're promising yourself. If you want to reduce weight of 5 kgs, if you want to, get a job, if you want to get some deliverables out, write a book, whatever it is, you're going to be tracking those at a quarter level. And all of this tracking, whether that's the quarterly goals, the weekly goals, whether the daily time, is going to be planned on a calendar, on Excel sheet. Choose the tool that you like. It's Evernote, it's Google Keep, it's Wunderlist, or whatever the replica of that is. Just make sure whatever it is, I'm not going to be prescribing all of these tools, but there are enough and more tools that are out there that you can choose. But stick to a tool and make sure that you're doing all this tracking diligently. And that's the important part of this step number 6. Step number 7 is, of course, where you're going to be living your everyday, right? And this is a very short step. That way, you're going to be just living it, right? You're going to be focusing on the hour, living in the moment, making sure that the task that you have put is the task that you're doing. Because at the end of the day, if all of this has to go somewhere, and if you have to make progress in your life in any aspect, you have to be living that particular moment and living as per the choice that you have made for that particular moment, living with full intent, living with no baggage, living in the present moment, making sure that you're putting the effort that's required, and there is nothing else that's distracting you. There's no other thought on you have to be somewhere else, you need to be doing something else. If that was the case, then you should go back to step number 5. Fix all of it as to whatever needs to be fixed. If it's a broken relationship, get out of it. You put your effort, you're not able to. If it's a broken body, fix it. If it's a job that you don't have, get it, right? Take that one-time effort, fix whatever is broken, but get back to doing stuff on an ongoing basis, every hour, every day, the stuff that you love, the stuff that you believe you should be doing. And that step number 7 is to live your one life as per what you thought and you wanted to do at that particular point in time. And step number 8 is that of reflection, right? And you're living this life, maybe in a day, in a week, you're going to be reflecting. Every day in the morning, I would suggest that you write a journal. Every day, every week, at least once for a half an hour, write, just figure out how you're doing on the weekly goals, as I talked about step number 6. It is possible that you had a bad day. It is possible that you have a bad week. It's even possible you have a bad quarter or a year, right? Don't judge yourself for it. It's okay if you've had a bad any of these durations. There is never a time to not restart, right? You can renew, you can restart. Yesterday was a bad day. Today morning is a fresh day. Just restart. The whole of last week you screwed up on some front. That's okay. Just restart that Monday. Do not wait for, oh, I did, screw up, so I'm not going to get there. That's nonsense, right? You can actually fix it any hour, any day. If you had a bad morning, that's okay. Just fix it from lunch, right? So I think it's important to reflect literally through the day, at least once a day, once a week, once a quarter, to make sure that you are progressing on your goals and you're living up to what you've promised yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you're not living up to the promise of what you've done, then you're losing the plot, right? And you're losing the plot only because you think you're losing the plot. It's, there's no one else to blame. No one else can get you to not be living as per the life you have defined. That's why OneLife is a very personal choice. If you have come up till this point, I believe that you wanted to make a big difference to your own life. And right now, you've come to a stage where everything is completely defined by you. If there's some aspect of life that's not going well, you can fix it. And if you're not able to live as per your own expectations or your own goals, that's your problem, right? And that's the power of step number 8. You can always go back to, whatever duration it is, and live that life that you've always planned. So that's the 8 step process. And obviously, like an engineer, I made it very structured, very analytical. But if you just go back and hear out all of these 8 steps, it's going to take you maybe 20 minutes and all the previous episodes. You will realize that this is all extremely commonsensical. There's nothing rocket science. Maybe I've just structured it in a way that it's all pretty straightforward. But one thing I can tell you, if you put the effort, you can drastically change your OneLife score, right? And I told you I was at 50. I am almost right now already at 70 in just a month. And hopefully by the end of this month, next month, when I start off whatever I'm doing next, I probably will touch 80, right? And I'm super looking forward to that. And what I can sense is, you can give this a shot, right? And it's at the end of the day a story that I have said. It's an 8 step process. It's not rocket science. It's pretty commonsensical. You can try it. And if it is not, process is not for you, you're too right brained, this is feels too robotic, you can make your own additions, deletions, changes, whatever it is, right? You can take the parts that you really, relate to. You can completely junk the parts that you don't relate to. I'm not going to take any offense to it. And the whole point of this framework is it's completely customizable to what you want. I have just given one structure, and if you can take any of it and make any aspect of your life better, any micro aspect of your life better, that's super, right? And then you work on it and make other aspects of your life better. If this hasn't worked for you, even then I would love to hear from you. The next few episodes in this first season is going to sort of round out the rest of the framework. The next one specifically is going to talk about a personal value system, and I'm going to touch on the couple of trends and end season 1 with maybe 20 episodes. And then season 2, hopefully from the next month onwards, will be a lot more about going in depth into specific aspects and also talking to people who have cracked it on specific aspects. So I'll see you in the next episode 18. Till then, see you.